Hey everyone out there on YouTube, this is JD Olsen with the Martial Arts Limited Association, and I am back once again with another training video for you guys. And so what we're going to do today is we're actually going to do a video on beginner grappling. So anyone who's looking at joining a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class or maybe a submission wrestling class or something like that, this is going to be a series of stretches and exercises or drills that you guys can do at home to kind of get yourself prepared for that training. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our first stretches. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm actually going to cross my feet just like this. I'm going to kind of lock my hands together. We call it S grip. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply rock back and rock up. And I'm trying to make sure my head doesn't touch the ground. And I'm just rocking back and rocking. I'm kind of stretching out my back a little bit. Just a little simple move. Okay, so you got that idea. So from there, we're going to go into this little winch wiper position right here. So I have my one leg right here in front of my body, and the other one bends and goes back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what we call a three level move. And so the first level, I have both hands on the floor. And so I put my hands on the floor, and I switch my legs out to the other side. And then I put my hands on the floor, and I switch to the other side. And that's the first one. It's called, we call level 1 winch wipers. Okay, and I just switch, and I just switch. Level 2, I only use one hand. So I push off the ground to create the switch. I push off the ground to create the switch. Push off the ground, create switch. Level 3, grab my gi, and I do the exact same thing, but I don't use any hands. So depending on your skill level, depending on how flexible and everything, you might have to stay with an earlier level. This might be your level in the beginning. Then after a couple weeks, you'll switch up to a different level. And all of those are fine. Okay, so now we're gonna move into just a standard, yoga stretch. So we're gonna go from here, I'm just gonna push up, kind of stretching out our abs. Again, kind of helping our back out a little bit. And then we lean back. Everybody's pretty familiar with these. Lean back. Go back forward, push down, try to touch your belly to the floor, and then back. I'm holding all these for about a count of 5. 5 to 7 is fine. Okay, from there, you go belly down, one arm out to the side, bring your hand in, get a good little shoulder stretch. Some people try to touch their foot to their hand. That's totally cool. I don't have a problem with that. Other side. So you see what I'm doing? Just one arm is pushing myself to that stretch, so I stretch out my shoulder. I go back one more time. And one more time. Okay, from there, I'm going to pop up. I'm going to put my head right here on the floor. And so now I'm going to stretch out my neck, kind of just rock it forward, back, forward and back. Side to side. I'm on my knees to provide myself the most protection. Once you get better, you'll pop up off of your knees and then go side to side. Make some circles. Go both directions, of course. Side to side. And so what I'm going to start off now is, remember here I was in this position. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply pull one leg up. So I'm kind of sitting in a base position. We call this base, okay, or a technical base. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rock back, and as I come up, I'm going to come up to my knees, okay? And then I'm going to drive my hip forward, push on that hip flexor. And then I rock back, and I come up to my knee. If you want to add the back break fall in, that's totally cool. That's actually going to be part of my next set when I do the next part of this. So I'm not doing it right now, but you completely could break fall and then make this happen. You're just trying to practice, just kind of stretching out your hips a little bit, rock back, and my feet switch every single time. Okay? So now we're going to move into some basic techniques. All right? So the basic techniques are going to simply be just that. They're going to be basics. So I'm going to start really simple. I'm going to be just like this. And I'm going to be here, hands on the floor, elbows on the floor. I'm gonna lift up one elbow. On the same side, I'm gonna lift up one knee. At this point, this gap between here, we call our doorway. I'm gonna take this opposite foot, and I'm gonna kick it through the doorway. And it's almost like I'm just hanging out watching TV. Okay? It's called a kick through. That's all I need to do. And then I put it back, I'm back in my turtle position. My knees and my elbows are touching. Elbow up, knee up, opposite leg, kick through, and back. You're just gonna go side to side. Elbow up, knee up, kick through, and back. Elbow up, knee up, kick through. And you can just practice. All right, that leads us to what we call a kick out. So I'm gonna kick all the way to my back. So let's look at that. Elbow up, knee up. I kick this foot through. I go all the way to my back. Bring my elbows in close. My tippy toes are on the floor. I'm gonna elevate my hips up as high as I can. Okay? And then I can lower them. If you want to do your back bridge, right here is where I would start it. So I'd lift, touch, back down, lift, touch, back down, lift, touch, back down, lift, touch, back down. Now to keep going, elevate your hips, kind of like I was going to do the touch, but this time I rotate on my shoulder and I get back to turtle position. Okay? Elbow up, knee up, that foot kicks through. This time I'm all the way to my back. My feet come to the floor. Elevate your hips, pull yourself over. Notice my belly button never touches the mat. All right, so from there, we do what we call a crab walk from the turtle position. I'm gonna put one hand forward. I'm gonna close that gap. Opposite hand forward. Close that gap. Forward, close. Forward, close. Okay? Let's look at that from a side view. Forward, close. Forward, close. You're trying just to make sure you open this gap up, you close it up. Open this gap up, close it up. And I lift my elbow up, I lift my knee up, and I kick myself through. I'm on my back. Okay? I've already done the back bridge, that little warm up or that little exercise. And so what we're going to talk about now is a hip out or a hip escape drill. So there's a few ways to do this. I also have a video on the 7 basic hip escapes on my YouTube channel. I'm going to tag that in the little link right up here. So you'll be able to go back and look at this in more detail. I'm just going to show you one for this video. If you want to check out the other ones, go ahead. So here I am. My elbows are in close. Okay? My tippy toes are on the floor. My heels are off the mat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my butt up just like before. But this time I push my butt out. And now I use my feet to pull myself back to where I'm at. Tippy toes, hip up, hip out. And now, pull back. Let's look at that again. Elbows in close, hands are protecting my face. Hip up, and out, and back. Hip up, hip out, and back. Hip up, flip yourself back over like we did a minute ago. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do what we call a Granby Roll. All right? So I'm going to elbow up, knee up. But this time, instead of kicking this leg through, I move this hand. I reach this hand in to reach for my foot, which forces a roll. Okay? And everything else is the same. Hip up, pull myself through. Okay? So, this hand, elbow up. Knee up, opposite hand, reach underneath, just roll on your shoulders to your butt. Called the Granby Roll. Tippy toes, hip up, flip over. Awesome. So from there, we're going to talk about some break falling, okay? Also, I did a full video on rolling and break falling. I'm gonna hit that link right up here so you can kind of, again, see it in detail. This is just, again, a kind of overview of some stuff that you could do to kind of prepare yourself for joining a grappling program. So I'm just gonna kind of give you some basics. I'm not gonna go into super detail. All right, so I start, no profile, just like this. Remember we did our rocking? Well, this time I rock, but I slap the mat. Okay, again, I don't let my head touch, and I slap about where my belt would be, about palm height, or waist height, sorry. And so it's palm down, but waist height. And so I slap right there. I slap right there. One more time. Now I do what we call dead bug. And now I fall to one side. Side break fall. I fall to one side. Everything's hitting at the same time. Save my body some damage. Here, other side, here, other side, other side. Excellent. Awesome. From there, I'm going to give you the forward roll, the dreaded forward roll. So, I'm going to do a couple versions of this. You can see it. This is still also in that same video, rolls and break falls. Okay, so I post one foot up. I take one hand and I reach in and I grab my own foot. Okay, my far hand goes on the ground. My toes and my fingers are pointing to the camera right now, right at you guys. Wherever I'm trying to roll to is where I point my toes and my fingers. Now I'm going to inchworm my hand until my knee crashes down on the ground. Of course, not in a painful way, just making sure my knee is touching. The hand is still holding my foot. This leg does nothing. I roll right towards you guys. Okay, let's look at that from the other side. Grab my foot, hand on the floor. I inchworm until my knee touches. I move my ear out of the way, and now I push myself over. I'm going to go this direction. Okay, and I'm going to go this direction. Go right that way. Bring my hand down, and I roll. You should see kind of a commonality. If I'm here, I could simply practice that roll, and I could reset myself, or I could be here, and we're going to do what we call a spider square drill now. So I'm here like this, and I simply lift both elbows up, and I lift both feet up. So I'm in this position right here. I pick up one hand, replace it with the opposite foot. Put my hand where that foot came from. Pick up a hand, opposite foot. Very similar to my kick throughs from earlier. Just this time, it's a replacement. So I have two variables for this, so you can kind of practice two different things. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go down the camera line so you can see. So what I have is, I have my elbow, my knee kind of touching, my other hand is kind of high. So what's going to happen is this rear leg is going to step forward, and when I do that, I just touch the floor. Notice this elbow is kind of in play here. And now as I come forward, I simply touch the floor. Okay? And I come forward, touch the floor. I go back the way I came. Okay? I'm here. I'm ready to go. As I come forward, this touches the floor. And now I change positions. As I come forward, touch the floor. That's a simple one. Second variable is I'm going to shoot forward, drive my knee, and then come forward, stand up. I didn't use my hands that time. I just want you to see the footwork. I'll do that again. So I shoot my leg forward, drive that knee, and then this one comes up. I could step with the rear leg. I could step with the lead leg. Doesn't matter. I would like you to train them anyway, train them both. So as I'm here, and post. If it's the same leg, just shoot that leg in and then post. Now my hands too. So if I use my rear leg, shoot forward, pull. Make sure if both knees are down for a split second, not very long. Hands in close, and I posture up. Coming right at the camera. So if I'm here, if I shoot forward, my knee touches, drive till my knee touches, bring that leg up, hand comes in, and stand. Could even drive. Okay? Look at that again. I'm here, and then I push off. Last variable, if this leg is in front and stays in front, I kind of punch to the ground. I'm driving that knee to the floor, and then I post. Arms are pulled in, I grab that leg, and I stand up. Excellent. Well, there you have all the warm-ups for a brand new person jumping into the grappling world. If you practice at home, when you come into the class, whether it was mine or somebody else's, you should have a kind of a basic generalization knowledge of some stuff that you'll be doing upon joining the class. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a like. If you like some of the other stuff you've seen, go ahead and submit. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.